the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing today? Sound off in the chat. Smash the like button on your way in. I appreciate you guys for joining. It is a beautiful day today. Not only because Bitcoin is pumping, but also because Bitcoin is pumping. What's going on, guys? Bitcoin currently trading at $72,900 and 1 penny. Looking good. Decoupling from the fractal in a good way, though. We like this decoupling. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we are at. 12 hour. The golden investment, is gold gonna recover too? Is reprising its role as digital gold. Very exciting. 72,886. Let's see, what do we got? We got some bears liquidated, which is always exciting. What's going on, Jake Dorton, Kwame, Gourmet Brands? Appreciate you guys. Let's get a zoom in here. Not that much. 73,265. 73,265. What's going on, HQZ? I had to hop on earlier than usual today because we're getting spicy. 75,901. I don't know what I'm going to do about my beverage because I assume I'm going to finish it before the end of the stream. 72,256. Maybe not, though. Yeah, we got a pretty explosive upside move, which is always exciting. 69,788. I'm not sure what spawned this. There's rumors about Iran. There's rumors about the Strait of Hormuz. Oil's pumping for some reason. I'm not entirely sure. I have no answers, but I do like to watch it. I like to watch it all unfold in the chart. I have been trading. If you guys are in the Discord, you guys have seen I have been trading lately, which is weird because I don't. It took like a 4-month-long break from trading because there was nothing to trade. Everything was been so sideways. I have successfully executed, I don't know, like between 3 and 5 trades, and the numbers are pretty good. We may have to jumpstart the trading challenge again, the compound trading challenge. If you guys are not aware, this compound trading challenge exists on the idea that you may be able to turn $50 into $1 million relatively quick. I don't remember. We did the math, but it doesn't take that long. You only need like, what was it, 60 trades or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Compound trading calculator. Daily compound interest calculator. All right, so we're not gonna consider the daily part at all. We're gonna completely forget about the daily part. It's just gonna be based on trades. We're gonna start with $50. We're gonna make 5% per trade. Yes, all days of the week. Invest rate. I don't know if this is the right calendar. Hang on. Compound interest. This is the one. This is the one. Initial investment $50. Interest rate, we're making 5% a day per trade, and it's compounding every day over the course of, I think, 6 months we went. Deposit amount, none. Calculate. Yeah, so after 6 months daily, so you start with $50, you make 5% per trade, and a total of, what is 6 months? 6 times 30, 180 trades, making 5% each trade. You'd have $368,000. So let's cut that actually down to 3 months. So 4,290. That's not bad. That's 90 days, 90 trades. If you go 4 months, 18,000, yeah, $20,000. I feel like we're gonna shoot for a smaller goal. We're gonna try to trade $50 up to, like, let's go 15K, 50 to 15. Let's see if we can make it happen. That would be 125% profit trades starting with $50. Now this does dictate, and this is very hard to do. The reason everybody doesn't do this is because it's very hard to do. We have to set tight stop losses, and I'm saying we because you guys are more than welcome to join. I'm going to be posting my progress in the Discord. It's all free. Nobody's expected to give any money to anybody, so if you get a DM asking for money, ignore it. But I'm going to see if I can turn $50 into 18 grand. I think that'd be fun. Or 50 to 15. We'll see what can happen. Anyways, Bitcoin, $72,748.20. Kwame said, does Bitcoin always go back to grab the liquidity, or does it pump and make people rich? It depends on what time frame you're looking at. I will say, if you're on a sliding scale and you look at any 10-year period, Bitcoin is always up after 10 years so far. Looks really good here. 72K, we're above 70. We held 70 beautifully. We broke above 71. We broke above 72. We're trying for 73 now. Rejecting. Don't expect to break right away. I guess if we're gonna pull back, I would look for a hold at 72 because we broke above that. So maybe we got to retest that. Maybe not though. We don't necessarily have to retest every $1,000. It is interesting to see it pump though, especially on a low liquidity weekend. Like, this is all retail driven. I guess it could be Michael Saylor. Ever since, I don't know, something happened. Saylor's STRC changed their annual interest or something like that to like 11%, which is huge. They like doubled it or something. And suddenly they're just rolling in the dough. They're on track, I think, to double their holdings this year, which is crazy to think about. So, I don't know. We'll see if that ends up being the case, because if you think about it, they do buy OTC, but eventually that OTC counter will have to like re-up their supply, kind of like a store. The price of the goods isn't going to go up, but if everyone's buying it all the time and the store has none of it on the shelf, they're going to keep buying it from the supplier's going to have to make more. You know what I mean? And there's no more Bitcoin being made. There's no more Bitcoin being made. The last, what is it? The last 1 million Bitcoin? I think that's what it is. It's 21 million. We just mined the 20 millionth Bitcoin. The last 1 million is going to take a couple, I don't remember, like 150 years to actually mine the last 1 million. There's 21 million Bitcoin, and there's 8 billion, probably 9 or 10 billion people on the planet. So there's not enough Bitcoin for every person. Now, your counter argument could be there's, Bitcoin's 72K. Not everyone's going to want to spend $72,000. You are correct. So, that being said, even if you cut it into quarters, there still is nowhere near enough Bitcoin. There's not enough Bitcoin. I'm just saying. Anyways, it looks great. I'm excited. The fractal's decoupling to the upside. Let's see where we end up. Make sure you guys give your opinion in the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, with oil pumping, what do you think Bitcoin is up right now? 75% said it was oversold. 25% said It's coupled with oil now. 0% said 2008 style scare safe haven now, and 0% said because it's time for a new all-time high. So we'll see what comes of that. ETH is up 0.11% on the day, getting pumpy. We are above the purple trend line here, which is exciting. That purple trend line goes back pretty far, I think 6 years. It's a 2020 trend line. Oh, I might have to go to the weekly. No, okay. Yep, 2020, March 2020. So we've been below this once before. We talked about it a couple of times. April 2025. And that was a little slingshot, which sent us, where did it send us? Sent us to, is that a new all-time high? Yes, it is. Barely, but it did send us to a new all-time high of approximately 49.56. Dang, look at that Marty Party target never got hit. That's it's kind of funny. That's still up there. 2,178 for the current price. Staying above this purple trend line is going to be important. So we'll see what comes of that. Solana is up 0.26% on the day, currently trading at 92.54. I'm glad we're back above 90 with Sol. I want to see it stay above 90 this time. We got above our horizontal resistance here at 88, and we're trying to play around with $100 eventually is the idea. And this blue trend line is incredibly relevant. If I zoom way out, so this blue trend line was part of a broader trend. This trend goes all the way back here. That was the bulk of it. And it was very much resistance and support several times over on higher and lower time frames. And then we eventually broke above that. Beautiful textbook inverse head and shoulder right here on lower time frame. Broke above that. Rejection, retest, confirmation as support, new all-time high. So this blue, top and bottom blue trend lines are incredibly relevant for Solana. We got a retrace all the way back down, lower trend line held, resistance, midpoint support, bounce, and that midpoint support on a lower time frame, actually, if you count the wicks, or if you don't count the wicks and you're looking at candle body, you got to bounce off of this neckline from this inverse head and shoulder, which sent us to that previous all-time high, or that new all-time high. So that neckline, got to bounce off that, and then we broke below again, neckline, support, upper trend line resistance, broke below our lower trend line. Now we're retesting it. If it acts as resistance, it's going to get a little bit spicy, so we want to get back above that. It's not the end of the world if we don't, but that's our best case scenario, is getting back above that trend line. So I'm looking for $100. 92.33 on the current price. We'll see what happens. Total 3 down 0.02% on the day, 732.94 billion. Let's see, we got a trend line here too. I think this is one of those. No, okay, so the orange one is a nice trend line. The yellow one I'm not sure is really quite relevant at all, so we're not going to pay attention to it, but I want to see this get above this upper trend line resistance. We haven't been able to since early February. We got above it briefly, but that was pretty much a fake out. So next stop, let's see if we can get above 740 billion on total 3. Giovanni said, yo, I don't know, I have PTSD from Sunday evening pumps. That's fair. I remember Sundays used to be horrible. It is up 0.22% on the day. Currently trading at 27.08. Looking good. We got a break above 26.22, which is the October 10th Binance wick, allegedly. Use that as support and broke to the upside. I want to see this thing above 30. But we'll take 27.5 right now. See what we can get. Snack is holding 5 very nicely. It was resistance for a hot second. We got a little double bottom break back above that. That's what we're looking for. Midnight. Still down, bouncing in between 4.6 and 5.4. Ever since we broke down this welcome to Binance sell-off, which still cracks me up. This is the funniest thing. I remember seeing Charles was like, welcome Binance. And I was like, oh, cool. I checked the chart and it just goes like explosive downside. I was cracking up for like 10 minutes looking at this chart. It got pretty wrecked. But it is consolidating now and it's almost symmetrical. So there's a decision point that's going to come soon, up or down. It is right smack dab in the middle too. And it's staying above 5, which is a psychological level. So let's get a bounce and see if we can get above 5.4 next. XRP is up 0.17. Ooh, XRP potentially breaking above this upper trend line resistance. Look at that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 146 and then break? Can we stay above that? Maybe we retest and continue the upside. That retest could go all the way down to 142. We're at 145 right now. 150 is going to be the next big resistance that we want to break above. So the lower trend line's iffy, but the upper trend line for sure is resistance. So breaking above that is a big deal. I'm going to rattle through the next couple. H-bar kind of seems like it's in a bit of a downtrend kind of thing now. So we'll see what comes of that. SWE down 0.45. I'm going to say this is at the upper portion of its range. I want to see this thing stay above $1. Ondo, same thing, upper portion of the range. Even if you do that, I want to see it break above 27.0 or 27.31, I guess. Arrow, kind of in the middle. This thing can't decide if it's in an ascending channel. Actually, that's pretty much what it looks like. Maybe it's on the bottom. It's on the bottom of the ascending channel. Polkadot. Ooh, Polkadot did bounce off of our previous resistance turn support. Let's see if we can get some upside out of that now. 143. We talked about stablecoin yield potentially being banned. Somebody mentioned it, and they were like, do you think that yield-bearing altcoins are going to maybe gain popularity if stablecoin yield is banned? And I think so. I agree with that. I love that synopsis. We do have a confirmed green dot on Polkadot on the 4-hour time frame. We'll see if that turns into any significant upside. But Polkadot, I think, is one of the higher yield-bearing coins. That being said, there's a lot of dilution with it, so it is quite a gamble. But it's one of the more mainstream coins, so you do got name recognition with it. Avalanche, beautiful, break above 950. First one to reach $10. Struggling to get above that right now. We got a wick right here indicative of some serious selling pressure, but we are still trying to get back above 10. We're at 992 right now. Let's see if we can break above it. Chainlink down 0.42% on the day, $9.46. Looks like it's rejecting 950. It is on the upper half of its range if I were to draw like a midpoint line right here. So that's good. And what's funny is this midpoint was clearly resistance right here. Resistance right there. So it seems irrelevant until you actually draw the line and you see that it was resistance. Pickerick said, Ayo, what's going on, Pickerick? 88 Metals Mania, Giovanni, Kwame, HQZ, Jake Dorton, Gourmet Brands. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let us know your opinion on the poll in the chat. 947. Let's get above 950, and then we can start talking about further upside. Dogecoin. We got to get above 10 cents for Doge. Gold. Gold is up 0.06 since the daily close. Is it? No, since the open. Since the futures open. 5,022. We're holding 5K, which is great. That's what we want to see. Silver. Silver's up 0.98% on the day. $81.34. Looking good. Let's get a proper bounce here. I like the wicks. The wicks are indicative of some buying pressure. I want to see some upside out of these guys. Holding $80. That's huge. Gold. We got a nice wick as well. Holding 5K. That's huge. DXY. DXY kind of stole the show this weekend. 100.23 above 100. Kind of crazy. This thing, it moves fast when it does move. We saw this back here. We were dancing around with 99, and then it just out of nowhere plummeted. That plummet formed a beautiful bear pennant, and we talked about whenever there's bearish patterns that invalidate, they invalidate very violently to the upside. Whenever there's bullish patterns that invalidate, they invalidate very violently to the downside. This one was a bear pennant textbook, beautiful played out, but it invalidated to the upside. It broke above 98.75, which is previous resistance based on this price action. Got above that, kind of played with 99.5 right here for resistance, but we held 98.75 as support and used that final springboard right here. Potential if you zoom way in and get on a lower time frame, you probably even got an inverse head and shoulder here, you can see, and that broke to the upside. I don't know if TA really applies to the DXY, to be completely honest. It is literally just measures the valuation of the dollar. So TA might not be your best bet, but it does seem to be playing out and following the magical lines on the chart. So I mean, look at this inverse head and shoulder right here that played out textbook as well. It's kind of crazy. Another one, inverse head and shoulder right here. Maybe we should just start trading the DXY. Inverse head and shoulder right here. Ooh, what is going on? I think that's it. That's crazy. I never noticed that. All right. Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is still not trading. We don't have futures for this. We do have futures for Nasdaq, though. We are 0.2%. Hopefully, again, we don't end up following the fractal, but we'll see what happens. 24, 475, 474 and 50 cents. I don't know, it's dancing around right now. We're looking green though. It did open red, but we're looking green. Potential bullish cross over the moving average on the RSI. Green dot of the momentum wave. I don't know if the market cipher even applies to the stock market, but we'll see. Nvidia chilling. Everything else, we're going to have to wait. Strategy, 138.19. Bitcoin dominance. Still struggling to get above 59.5. If we reject, then that could be bullish for altcoins. According to CoinMarketCap, we are looking at a altcoin season index of 44. 43, actually. 43. So we are slowly working our way up to a potential altcoin season according to CoinMarketCap. Let me check really quick. Fear and greed. We are on the super yacht today, by the way. We're in the super yacht office. Obviously, the market's pumpy. I brought the super yacht out. I did cancel the sale or the cleaning. I was not selling it because I can afford this the whole time. Had nothing to do with the market conditions. All right. Bam. If you guys are degenerate gamblers like me and you want to sign up for Kalshi, use my link in the description. Deposit and trade with $25 or more, and you will receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit, as well as me. Help support the channel. Be a degenerate gambler. Totally up to you, though. It is degenerate gambling, so treat it as such. Don't play with more than you can afford to lose. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers as quick as possible. Cardano back in the top 10, fighting with hype, fighting like dogs. Doge, still number 9, looking good. Tron doesn't make any sense. Solana, I feel like needs to be higher. XRP, BNB. XRP should be higher than BNB. Everything should be higher than Tether. This is pathetic, guys. Those are rookie numbers. Pump those numbers up. CoinMarketCap, Fear and Greed, 37. Yesterday we were at 36, so today we are one less afraid than we were yesterday. CoinGlass, Fear and Greed is at 14. It's kind of been hovering around the same. We're in extreme fear, according to CoinGlass. We are in regular fear, according to CoinMarketCap. And then the stock market Fear and Greed is at 20, which is extreme fear. Folks in the stock market are scared. They're very, very scared. Mind you, Bitcoin's down 50%, and we're like crawling out of fear. The stock market, like S&P 500 is down like 8% from its all-time high, from its record high, and they're in extreme fear. So that's kind of funny. It kind of goes to show the black and white like difference in the market. Bitcoin, 72,519. Why is Tron up there? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I was watching somebody else's stream, and he asked his audience. He's like, "Does anyone here use Tron?" Never in my life. Been in crypto for more than half a decade, and I think it has to have been like 6 or 7 years. And I've never met anybody that goes, "Oh, I use Tron for swaps," or like, "Oh my gosh, dude, the Tron ecosystem is so great," or like, "Oh, I use Tron for stablecoins. I use Tron for this or that." Nobody uses Tron. Nobody. Just like BNB. BNB at least makes sense because there's like an entity behind it. Tron is just Justin's son. Allegedly. It's a little sus, in my opinion. All right. Let's see. 72,520 on Bitcoin. Let's get to the news segment. Actually, before we do that, let's end the poll and get a new poll. I asked you guys, why, or with oil pumping, why do you think Bitcoin is up right now? 74% of you guys said it was oversold. 13% said it's coupled with oil now. 13% said because it's time for a new all-time high. And 0% said 2008 style scare. Safe haven now. I like that one. All right, next we've got, what do we got next? Okay, this one's a good one. I want to do this one. I've been saving this one. And we got it coming up in like 10 days, maybe 15 days. Do you think Iran conflict will end prior to Trump/Xi Jinping meeting, which is in, I believe, April, beginning of April, liquidation day? Yes, Trump will force end prior. No, too much happening to end it. Yes, Xi will help it end. Or no, Iran won't play ball at all. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Do you think the Iran conflict will end prior to Trump-Xi meeting? We got yes, Trump will force end prior. No, too much happening to end it. Yes, Xi will help it end. Or no, Iran won't play ball at all. And Iran. That's such a good song. Imagine having a whole theme song for your country. We literally have like 10,000 for America. Every country has a theme song. What are you talking about, bro? HQZ said, I wonder how that Trump scam coin is doing now, just over a year later. Actually, it pumped recently. I think, was it Fahid brought it up yesterday? Yeah, dude, this thing's pumping out of nowhere. This is why I think the conflict is going to end soon, because nobody knows why this magically went up 59%. You know what I mean? What if Oman is calling, they're like, we want to end it, and then Iran is like, please tell him we'll end it. Tell him that we literally just pumped his scam coin, his meme coin. It's not a scam. It's not a scam at all. It's not a scam. His meme coin, it's not even a meme coin. His very highly valuable utility coin, that's probably better than Bitcoin. It's going to flip Bitcoin. Tell him we pumped it by 50%. That's probably what's happening. That's what I think. HQZ said, oh, really? I was just thinking of it today. Guess everyone else was too, apparently. Kwame said Trump won't play ball. Maybe. We got Oman calling. Okay, I want to check really quick. I made my first Harambe buy. Laddering in. You guys know, if you were here last year, that we are buyers of Harambe. Harambe's death anniversary mid-February 2026. Okay, that's where it was, mid-February 2026. Where's my buy? Is it going to be on here at all? It's not a lot. Jeez, there's people putting $500 in this damn thing. Holy cow. You got to have big balls to do that. That's crazy. Mine was earlier today. I think that might be me. No. Where's me? I don't know. I'm not going to be able to find it. I put like $5 in. Harambe's death anniversary is coming up in 2 months. We are front running the death anniversary pump. And usually it does get front ran. I think right here. Yeah, it's in May. So we're basically buying right here, hopefully. March, April, and then May, boom, we want to sell. The idea is to just make money. Whether it's, 200% or 50%, we just want to make a decent trade on a meme coin. And Harambe is the one where we know when it's going to be topical. It's almost been a year. It has almost been a year. It's been a year on the channel for sure. That I do know. We've been going for over a year, and for some reason I've decided to live stream every single day, and I've gotten to the point now where I've been doing it over a year. To the I can't stop. My fiance is like, just take a day off. I'm like, are you crazy? What the hell did you just say to me? I just immediately revert to the 1950s, and I can't do it. I cannot take a day off. Mentally, I know I've been doing this every single day for probably 400 plus days. It started in September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 times 30. That's 180 days. So 365 plus 180. I've been doing this for 545 days in a row. Oh my God. What have I done? And I can't stop. Because I know mentally I'm like, I've been doing this every single day. If I stop, then what's the excuse? Well, I didn't feel like doing it that one day, so I don't have a daily streak anymore. That sucks. I've been conditioned. I have Stockholm syndrome. Giovanni said, crazy to think I've been watching since late 2024. Hell yeah. Appreciate you, Giovanni. Kwame said, I respect the grind. I respect you guys. 72K for Bitcoin. Looking good. This thing, I'm gonna bet right now. I'm gonna bet $5 that it's gonna be green before the end of the stream. This candle specifically. It's probably not going to. I definitely owe somebody $5. All right, let's get to the news segment. Bitcoin Teddy posted, I don't think the average person understands the asymmetry of this trade. We got gold, silver, global liquidity, and Bitcoin looking to potentially sweep up. That would be pretty cool. We'll see what happens. Next, we got Danny. Danny posted. You guys know we like to look at these random estimates for the market. It's fun. Plus, I feel like the best method, without having 85 indicators on your screen and like listening to what every different person says or paying for a group to like do what they say blindly, I feel like taking in information from other people and determining your own point of view. Whoa, who would have thought being an original thinker is the best way, in my opinion. Because then you can't blame anybody else when you inevitably lose all of your money. Crypto's situation in 2026 is developing exactly as I said before. March, breakout after hitting the bottom. April, full recovery. May, June, new all-time high, 215K. July, liquidation cascade. August, bear market. That would be pretty damn crazy, I'm not going to lie. If Bitcoin hits 200K, I'm probably going to take significant profits. Just don't get shaken out before the best part. Keep in mind, I've called every major market top and bottom over 10 years. If you still haven't followed me, you'll regret it. Have I followed Danny? I have not. Should I follow? I'm going to follow him. Why not? It doesn't cost me anything. Kwame said, these we are here charts lie to me every time. Right? It's fun, though. It's fun speculation. It is very fun speculation. Bear trap, Bitcoin breakout. I mean, he did post this in February 22nd, so I will say I got to respect the guy for backdating his own crap. And it's hard to get the 257,000 followers. It really is. I don't even know. Am I at like 2K on X? It's really hard. And most of that, I think, is from me hosting giveaways, which sucks because those people never come back. And they're probably all fake. It's like having 1,000 followers and then they all create a second account just to participate, to double their chances. So then you suddenly have 2,000 followers out of nowhere. I don't know if X does anything to combat that, but that's how it feels. That's how it feels on the inside. This is great. Little Andrew Yang input. He's looking a little older. He's looking a little green around the gills. Andrew Yang is right. Taxing AI companies will be a cornerstone of a post-labor economy. But we should go further. AI was trained on our data, our writing, our code, our images. Society created the raw material, so society should own a piece of it, not just taxes, shared ownership, and AI dividends. If AI becomes the most productive technology in history, the wealth it creates should flow back to the people who create it. Andrew Yang, in this interview, I don't know if I can play the audio. In this interview, he basically says, buddy of his, who's like an owner of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, basically said, you guys need to tax us. And he's like, that's the first time in my life I've ever heard like a rich billionaire ask to be taxed. And it's because they're making so much damn money. They don't need employees anymore. It's weird. It's a weird world, man. Bitcoin Teddy posted 80K car loan. Nice ride. Enjoy it. 150K student debt. Everyone has it. No big deal. 25K vacation on credit. You only live once. 10K in Bitcoin. You're crazy. That's gambling. Society will cheer you on going broke, but will panic the second you try to build wealth. Isn't that crazy? Think about it. Oh, you save money, just put it in a savings account. What's the savings account doing? Nice, you're accumulating, great, but what's it doing? Nothing. It's actually dissolving away. Think of inflation like rust. And a savings account, cash, is literally just raw, untreated metal. Have you ever seen raw, untreated metal? Literally the second any amount of moisture, you breathe on it. And it just instantly rusts. It's crazy. So, money's strong unless it's just sitting there exposed to nothing. It's just sitting there rotting away, rusting away, dissolving into nothing. A new car is worth a lot more. You can't get a new car unless you have money. You can't build wealth unless you take that cash and put it elsewhere. Cash is the exit strategy. So unless you're spending it today, you shouldn't have any. You should be relatively liquid, but not from a cash perspective. In my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a big asset guy. I never was before. I was a paycheck to paycheck dude up until the pandemic, actually, believe it or not. And what's weird is I was literally working like a landscaping gig. I still have the same job. It was like architecture, landscaping, construction, carpentry kind of like amalgamation. And I still have the same job. I still pretty much like I've gotten raises, but nothing crazy. But I'm no longer paycheck to paycheck because I discovered cryptocurrency and that eventually snowballed into investing. And now I have a diversified portfolio. I have stocks, I have crypto, I have precious metals. I'm actually about to buy and flip a damn car. I don't know. Something to think about for sure. The second I stopped thinking about money like it was this necessity and like I was never going to have enough, I started just having a ton. It's really weird how that little switch, you flip that little switch, your mindset changes completely. Crypto Spaces said good night, chat. Big up, Kwame. What's going on, Crypto Spaces? Cheers, my friend. Happy Sunday. Bitcoin $72,556, gold $5,026, silver $81.29. Looking good. All right, let's go back to X. We've got Saudi Arabia. Saw this shit coming 45 years ago. While the entire world panicked about the Strait of Hormuz, Saudi Arabia had a 1,200-kilometer pipeline ready to go. From the Persian Gulf Strait to the Red Sea, bypassing Hormuz completely. Built in 1981, activated in 2026. 7 million barrels a day flowing through the desert right now. Iran threatened to choke the world's oil. A quiet project from decades ago now looks like one of the smartest geopolitical moves ever. Why isn't it bigger? 7 million is not enough. I love it though. Saudi Arabia, mad respect. We need more, man. More pipelines. F these straits and all of these coastlines and bays and all this crap. Just put pipelines everywhere, man. Why do we need any of this crap? Kwame said, selling grams to kids. Dude, I feel bad. I don't know what to do. I feel like the kid deserves some silver. I went over this yesterday. I'm going to go over it again, guys. I listed some silver on Facebook Marketplace for my boss. He's looking to get rid of some. But he wants to sell it like $5 over spot. So I'm not buying it. I'm like, no thanks. But I'll list it on Facebook Marketplace for you because somebody else will buy it. You can't get it. You're paying like 10, 15 over spot if you're buying it on some bullion exchange or whatever. So this kid, and I'm almost positive it's a kid, DMs me and goes, I can't even say his name either. It's a kid's name. He sounds like a kid. He goes, hello, I only got $14. Can I have silver? And I go, the smallest amount I have is an ounce. If you check eBay, you can probably get a silver gram for $14 or less. I don't know, But if you're a kid, you can't buy anything on eBay. I'm pretty sure you have to be an adult. He goes, okay, well, I can trade a cool thing with money. And then he sends me this sick-looking dagger from, like, the Dark Crystal or something. It's just this crazy-ass dagger. I don't know. It's just, it kind of cracks me up. And then I mentioned yesterday on stream, I'm like, what am I going to do? Like a blind drop-off? Because I don't want to get stabbed. Kids today are kind of crazy. Literally, the song Teenagers from My Chemical Romance is the most accurate song on the planet. Teenagers scared the living shit out of me. I have a teenager. Terrified. But, like, other teenagers outside of my teenager, even more scary. Because I don't know what the hell they're going to do. At least I know my kid's not going to kill me. Because she needs me for, like, food and shelter and shit. You know what I mean? But I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to do a blind drop-off. So I'm going to text this kid on Facebook Marketplace, be like, hey, man, I left a gram, but, like, put the money here, and I'll drop off a gram. I'll drop off a gram for you at the light post at the park. I'm immediately going to jail. A gram? That's how they sell weed. And why are you selling weed to a kid on Facebook? What the hell, bro? And then they're going to think everything that I've posted on Facebook is just some code for weed. Like silver grams and whatever the hell else I have up there. It's just funny. But I thought it was kind of cool. I'm like, this is clearly a kid, but he wants to invest. He wants to invest. I have yet to send him a referral code. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I'm half tempted to tell him all the things not to do, though. All right. Bitcoin looking good. 72,578. I'm just gonna watch me stream until this candle turns green or it confirms close. That'd be really funny. When you didn't take profit because you wanted 970 to turn to 1K, but now you're back down to 80 bucks. This is so real. Lunar Entity said, when I was a young boy. Dude, I would love to see them live. It blows my mind that Gerard Way is as talented as he is. He like created My Chemical Romance. Wrote all those amazing songs. One of my favorite bands of all time. 1000%, without a doubt. And then they like retire because they got so huge so fast that they can retire after like a decade. And he goes on to make Umbrella Academy and Doom Squad. Both completely separate franchises, by the way. One of them is Dark Horse, the other one's DC. I don't know, it's so cool. That's so cool to me. All right, next, No Limit posted, called the Bitcoin top at 126K, shorted Zcash at the exact top, literally the top, called OIH, XLE, and NTR all in profit. Not to brag, but I don't have a single losing trade in the history of my X account, not one. That's the secret, or what's the secret? I don't overtrade. Now, I wanted to talk about this specifically because I think this is huge. I don't overtrade. When there's no money to be made, I don't force it. Simple as that. Now, that's a little cocky, but I get what he's trying to say. And I never use leverage. Never. I spend hours on analysis, and when the perfect setup presents itself, I buy or sell spot with millions of dollars. Anyway, I've analyzed hundreds of stocks, and I might have found something great. Turn on notifications, pay attention. That's all I'm asking. The point of me reading this is I don't overtrade. That 3 words right there, huge. One of the biggest lessons that I ever learned when it came to crypto, or just investing in general, is don't force trades. You get into this mindset, and I always use the Limitless analogy because that's such a good movie. But the guy he becomes a millionaire in day trading because he's like taking this drug that like makes him hyper focused, and he can see things that other people can't see. That's like the life right there. You fantasize about that as somebody just getting into investing. You're like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm gonna day trade. I'm gonna be a day trader. Is it 4 words? Oh, I guess you're right. He just didn't put a space in there. My bad. Maybe I meant don't overtrade. Anyways, don't force trades. Oh no, his was 3 words. His was 3 words. I don't overtrade, but I think it is 4 words if overtrade is two separate words. But anyways, I don't know. The biggest lesson I learned is don't force trades. I was trading every single day. Like always, I always had to be in a trade, and I was losing money like crazy. And I stopped doing that. I was like, why am I doing this? I'm just like gambling at that point because I'm like, I don't know if it's going to go up or down. I'm just going to bet that's going to go up. And then it wouldn't. And I would either get... I've only been liquidated like 3 or 4 times. But the rest of the other times I might as well have been. Because the money went down so far that it wasn't even worth taking profits on. Or taking a loss on. But forcing trades, huge. Definitely a big lesson to learn. Watcher Guru posted, Elon Musk says AI will make jobs optional in the future due to universal high income. The high income part I can't get behind. But the universal basic income, I understand. 88 said, so he's saying he never lost on one? That, I don't know. Again, the rest of the post is somewhat irrelevant in my opinion. It's the don't force trades kind of setup that I was going for. Michael Saylor hints at buying more Bitcoin. Stretch the orange dots, he said. Average U.S. gas price rise to $3.70 for the first time since April 2024. That's crazy. Tether CEO Paolo Arduino says his AI team will release a true breakthrough in this coming week. That's actually pretty epic. I'm kind of excited for that. Like, if there's anyone that has more money than OnlyFans chicks, it's Tether. So anything that they do is probably going to be pure gold. Kwame said, my first liquidation was October last year, lost 2K. Damn. That sucks so bad. My liquidations, I think my worst one was maybe like 20 bucks, thankfully. I've only ever traded with a very, very, very small portion of my money. And I guess my biggest, I'm going to get conspiracy time for a second really quick here. My biggest mistake was taking profits. And that sounds silly and stupid, but the joke, taking profits as a psyop, If you really think about it, I'd start with $20, $25. I'd work it up to $100, and I'd take most of it out. And then I'd wait until payday. I'd put another 20, $25 in, and I'd do the same thing. Now, what am I doing there? I'm making $75 a week. Cool. An extra $400, $300 a month. Big whoop. But if I had left it, and if I had compounded, I could be a millionaire by now. I don't freaking know. Is taking profits a psyop? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe not. Probably not, depending on what you're doing. But if I had compounded every single trade, knowing what we know about the compound trade calculator, I might be a millionaire right now. I have no idea. So I've stopped taking majority of it off the table. I still advise taking profits, not financially though. I'm not a financial advisor. Taking profits is important. Bottom line. Lunar Entity said Tether might flip Ethereum soon. XRP lost badly to Tether. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that the taking profits thing was funny. After I did the compound interest calculator and I realized, I was like, I've been taking most of my money off the table this whole time. What the hell, bro? It's just kind of funny to think about. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz is open to all countries except the United States and Israel. Marty Party posted, stop shilling fear. Fear is a poison. You are getting people hooked on the drug and are manifesting destiny. Then we've got count positive versus negative posts on this app. This I agree with 1000%. 99% negative fear-mongering. Fear-mongering gets clicks, it gets views, it gets engagement. People are afraid, or they want to be. The world is removing the source of terrorism. This is good. Support and be thankful. We cannot evolve with the threats of terror. Know how they win? By turning the timeline into a terror propaganda machine, which is happening. Be braver. Stop exploiting fear. It's not cool. It's dangerous. I will say, your feed is what you make it, and my feed is great. My feed is either investing stuff or like cute animals or like really cool like architecture and stuff like that. There's not a lot of fear mongering, if any. It's mostly just news. So it sounds like Marty Party's maybe interacting with the fear mongering a little too much. That's like the people kind of telling on themselves. I have a whole joke written about this, the targeted advertising and stuff like that, and like your feed. People are like, my Instagram feed is nothing but porn. Or like, I don't even like Twitter. Every time I go on there, dude, it's just like OnlyFans girls. Like, brother, you are looking at OnlyFans girls and porn if that is all your entire feed is. That is what they're showing you. Like, oh, this guy likes naked boobies. Specifically on Twitter. We're going to show him nothing but naked boobies. And then you go on Twitter and you're like, dang it, naked boobies again. But that's only because you're in company. You know what I mean? Lunar Entity said CME has a weekly gap at 71,325. I counter your weekly gap at 71,325 and I raise you 84,260. What time frame you say? I don't know. But I do know that it exists and it has not been filled. All right, continue. Kobayashi letter, the meat and potatoes of the news segment. It's Comey said, listen, I just looked at one butt. No joke, I received an unsolicited butt picture one time, which it feels very random and rare. Like, when is a nude ever a butt pic? It was like a chick and she was like in front of the mirror and she like took a picture. I never met this person in my life. I woke up in the morning and I'm like, rolled over and I looked at my phone and I was like, and I woke up, my fiance was like, I just got a random butt pic. And she was like, what? I was like, I just got a random butt pic. And I was like, I've never seen this chick before in my life. It was the weirdest thing. I have no idea. Maybe it was a weird fishing thing. It was just crazy. And I get calls for this random dude all the time. What's the guy's name? The old guy used to be Victor. I don't remember. The new guy's name is like Paul or something. But I looked it up. These people haven't had this phone. I've had the same phone number for like over a decade. So these people had this phone number in like the 2000s. And somehow I'm getting calls for them. So I don't think that this young girl was sending pictures to these old guys. So I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. Lunar Entity said, I told you about that 84K weekly gap several streams ago, actually. I think that we've had this on there before you said that, though. But yeah, I do remember you mentioning it. Lunar Entity also said the CME chart ticker is BTC1 exclamation mark. They're supposedly going to get rid of that, which is exciting. Okay, I see that one. And then there's a big one up there, yep. Yep. 84K. Exciting stuff. Let's see what happens. I didn't know there was a chart for that, though. That's sick. Is the fractal going to be somewhat accurate? Now we're going to get a very flat and then an explosion later on to trick some folks. We do a little bear trap right here, maybe? That'd be kind of funny. Let's continue news segment. Strategic reserves likely cannot solve the oil crisis. Oh, excuse me. A coordinated G7 SPR release would only deliver 1.2 million barrels approximately of oil per day, according to JP Morgan estimates. Historically, emergency releases have peaked at 1.4 million barrels per day. However, the U.S. Reserve operational flexibility, that's a lot of words, is likely to be lower than the 1 million barrels per day pace seen in 2022, given ongoing site modernization work and lower inventories. Meanwhile, 16 million barrels per day remain stuck inside the Gulf due to the Strait of Hormuz blockade. A 1.2 million barrels per day release rate against a 16 million barrels per day shortfall covers just 7.5% of the gap. Emergency reserves can buy time, but they do not replace lost supply or resolve flow constraints. No shit. It's Kwame said, did you get any extra money from overtime on your tax return? I was surprised when I filed today. I actually, this is going to be crazy and you guys probably aren't going to believe me. Or maybe you are. Maybe you're going to feel bad for me or something. I had 0 overtime in 2025. I kind of by design. I got a raise like, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. And I've been kind of just coasting off that. And outside of work, technically I think I work part-time, which is weird to think about. But outside of work, I do all kinds of side gigs and stuff. So I've supplemented my income to the point where I have a lot of free time, which is very nice. I don't know. I feel like I'm bragging when I say that, but it's not meant to be. I still can't afford a house, but I am, providing for my family in a single family income. So I'm very grateful. It's kind of that's my biggest brag, I think, is that I provide for my entire family. We're very comfortable. We just don't have a house yet. That's the main hurdle I'm trying to get over. I'm also not, I'm not trying to get a hard inquiry when the market's not in my favor. And I'm not trying to wait forever either. So eventually I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy whatever I can get. The free time is huge, dude. The free time is huge. Like, I can kill myself. We can get put in a house, beautiful home, whatever. And then I have no free time to enjoy it and be miserable. Maybe. That's a big maybe as well. I don't know if it would even benefit me at all financially if I worked 40 hours a week, because the amount of income that I make from my side gigs that I get from my free time, I think is more than what I make at my job, which is kind of crazy to think about too. I had one job that I did this year. Was it this year? I think it was this year. I made $800 in one day. Profit. That was crazy. I think that's the most money I've ever made in my life. Like, if you do like a per hour thing, I think I worked like 4 hours. What is that? That's $200 an hour. That's freaking crazy. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Kwame said, I just worked 17 days in a row pulling 12 to 14 hour shifts. Hell yeah, Kwame. That's fucking awesome. That's the way to do it though, man. When you can crank that shit out and you just get a ginormous paycheck. I will say this year I did get, I think I've gotten 2 so far, overtime checks, and it was a lot of money, because like I said, I've been kind of part-time for a long time now, so getting not only 40 hours, but over 40 hours, and then seeing that overtime and getting the check, I was like, whoa, it was like a couple weeks worth of pay at that point, It was kind of cool. Kobe SC letter, strategic. Oh yeah, we read this whole thing. Breaking U.S. Energy Secretary Wright says the Iran conflict will end in the next few weeks, with oil supplies rebounding and energy prices falling once the war concludes, per ABC News. This likely won't be enough to calm oil markets. Yeah, Iran conflict will end in the next few weeks. I believe it. The average U.S. gas price has surged at $3.78 a gallon, now up $1 per gallon since December low, and 28% since the Iran war began. U.S. oil and stock market futures open in 7 hours. Markets have yet to react to a ton of new events, including U.S. strikes on Kharg Island and President Trump's global call to militarily open the Strait of Hormuz. However, the war timeline seems to be expanding, as the U.S. is now saying the war will likely end within the next few weeks instead of 1 week. This is vastly different outlook than where we were just 6 days ago on March 9th, when President Trump said the war was very complete. And even as the U.S. Navy is preparing to open the Strait of Hormuz, shipping activity through the strait remains near zero. The U.S. has 7 hours to calm oil markets before futures open, or oil prices are heading back to over 100 a barrel. Prepare for more turbulence. Lunar Entity said they gave themselves a time limit with a temporary lift on Russian sanctions. Yeah, that's only like 10% of what we lost, though, isn't it? We're losing 20 million barrels a day. Russian sanctions only give us 2 million. Like to replace that. Am I wrong? Plus, I guess we got 2 million from the pipeline. It's 1.7, but if we round up, we got 2, so that's 4, so that's 20%. So we're still 80% down from that full 20 million barrels per day. Lunar Entity also said exact same stuff with the trade deal craze from last year. Do something drastic, impose a time limit. Yeah, it is. It is the exact same thing every time. That's why I was like, this is just deja vu. Like, we've been here before. And the results were quite promising. It's like we see, I almost want, and I feel like I'm giving too much credit if I do this, I almost want to believe the market looks amazing. The market goes, whoa, it's way up. And then they're like, oh, it's getting too hot, but we don't want it to crash. Well, let's bomb Iran. And then they bomb Iran. The markets go, whoop, and then it goes sideways. Uncertainty. People are buying the dip, and then they're like, the Iran war is over. And then it goes, boom, it goes even higher. Instead of, let's say there was no conflict, maybe this would have been like, oh my gosh, it's way overheated, and then it goes down. And then it goes down, and there's nothing happening. The stock market's just drying out. And then eventually it climbs back out of it. This, couple bombs dropped, getting that result is a lot better than this one, probably based on the president's point of view. And it's worked so many times already. But again, I don't know if that's giving them too much credit. It seems like a good way to like plateau the markets, instead of people being like, I should take profits. Instead of anyone even considering like coming up with a timeline trading strategy or anything like that. People, they see the bombing and they go, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. What do we do? And then they're all busy talking to each other like a bunch of chickens. And then it's over. Then they're like, oh my gosh, it's over. We should go buy. Let's go buy. And then the price goes up higher. You know what I mean? Instead of allowing boredom and complacency to result in a sell-off, they get this conflict going. We plateau with uncertainty. And then the uncertainty goes away and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we should buy more now. Suddenly, we're even more bullish than we were before. I don't know. Lunar Entity said, put positioning delta from institutions is now at 2007 levels. Surprised it went higher than 2020. I've seen that as well. And that is another reason why I'm so standoffish, because we keep seeing all this stuff where it's like retail record buying of stocks and all this stuff. And I'm like, that doesn't make me bullish. You know, that spooks me a little bit. Anyways, Kobayashi letter key events this week. Markets react to U.S. strikes on Kharg Island today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Futures didn't really give a crap. You know, I feel like they mastered the weekend announcements as well. February pending home sales data comes out on Tuesday. February PPI inflation data comes out on Wednesday. Also got Fed interest rate decision and statement on Wednesday, FOMC, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index on Thursday, and January new home sales data on Thursday. We have a huge week ahead. I saw some like crazy out of left field, probably scammer post on X, and it was like the Fed is prepping for a 50 basis point rate cut on Wednesday, and I was like, let's go. It was definitely just like a fear mongering kind of like weird attention grabbing post, but I'm all for it, dude. Let's do it. Let's do a 50 basis point rate cut. I'm gonna place that bet on Kalshi as well. The next big decision. What is happening in the Bab al-Mandab Strait? Since the Iran war began, the Strait of Hormuz has been the focal point, as it accounts for around 20 million barrels of daily oil supply. On Thursday, Iran's Fars news agency said Houthis in Yemen and other resistance groups may join in the war against the U.S. and Israel, per Wall Street Journal. Not too long ago, Yemen's Houthis, who are backed by Iran, were striking ships in the Red Sea, resulting in a major drop in shipping activity. Currently, around 12% of global seaborne oil passes through Bab al-Mandab, making it the world's fourth largest shipping choke point. If this passage is closed, around 6 million barrels of daily oil supply would be halted. Total offline capacity between the two straits would near 25 million barrels per day, or around 25% of global supply. That's crazy. We have another pivotal week ahead. Flight Fan said, I feel that theory. G Immortal said, what's up, JJ? What's going on, G Immortal? All right. Institutions are piling into crude oil longs. Hedge fund long positions on Brent crude oil futures surged 65,438 lots in the week ending March 10th to 351,032, the highest since February 2020. Long positioning has surged 966% since December, the biggest increase in at least 6 years. Meanwhile, bullish bets on WTI crude oil rose to an 8-month high, according to CFTC data. CTAs, the algorithm-driven trend followers, are now 100% long in both WTI and Brent futures. This is the first time this has occurred in U.S. crude oil since September 2021, when the position lasted 26 trading sessions. Is the oil trade too crowded? I don't know. I still have my short open. I might add to it. The software sector is facing a massive debt wall. Around $40 billion in software and services debt matures in 2028, the largest single-year concentration. The vast majority of this is rated B- or lower, deep in junk territory, with no investment-grade debt in the mix. In total, around $100 billion in software debt matures from 2026 to 2029, with an additional $70 billion beyond 2030. Meanwhile, AI disruption is increasing credit risk for software borrowers, the exact companies that private credit funds have been lending to most aggressively. Software is also the largest sector in the leveraged loan market, representing 12% of the total. Refinancing this debt at higher rates with deteriorating fundamentals will be a growing problem for the sector. The software sector has a tough road ahead. Dang. We've got Asia as the most exposed region to a shortage of LNG, which is liquefied natural gas or something like that. Around 85% of LNG transiting the Strait of Hormuz is destined for Asia, with limited rerouting options. Korea, Thailand, and Taiwan are running LNG trade deficits of minus 1.5% of GDP. Meanwhile, they are the most vulnerable to shortages. Japan, the world's second largest LNG importer, is also deeply exposed at minus 1% of GDP. China is the biggest importer in volume terms, but its deficit as a percentage of GDP is almost flat due to the size of its economy. The LNG shortage is a major energy risk for Asian economies. That's kind of spooky. Flight Fan said, I have theory. The new Fed chair said he'd cut rates immediately, but only if the circulating currency is lowered. I'll tell you my theory, but I'll let you guess the answer on how he'd pull that off. Only if the circulating currency, so if the dollar drops, he'll cut rates if the dollar's decreasing? Because the dollar's been going up. Oh, you mean the dollar amount? Yes. He wants the Fed to decrease their balance sheet. He's going to decrease the Fed's balance sheet and cut interest rates, which is not necessarily the opposite. The Fed is increasing their balance sheet right now, but they're not cutting. So I guess, yeah, that is kind of the opposite. Asia is the most exposed region. Yep, we just read that. Okay. President Trump plans to announce that multiple countries have agreed to form a coalition that will escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz, per Wall Street Journal, 1 hour until futures open. That was 4 hours ago. Tesla will launch a massive AI chip tariff fab project in just 7 days. That actually sounds really promising. I think we need more chip work in the US. This cracked me up. Question, is this you? I'm an idiot. Why didn't I buy Bitcoin at 70K, 100K, 70K again? LOL, I ain't buying that shit. 120K, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I buy Bitcoin at 100K? And then this one cracked me up too. Bitcoin approaching 72K. 72K kicks Bitcoin out. Bitcoin's back. Reminder, if you bought Bitcoin every time someone called it a scam, you'd have over $74.8 million. I did the math. $100 each time. That's $47,100. That's a lot of money. Flight fan said, I think war helps us burn the dollar at an accelerated level. Maybe. Probably. War is bullish for jobs. Like over a longer period of time, war is good for the jobs market because you need more jobs to create, and then people are being deployed as well, so there's less population, more jobs for the people that are here. Afterwards, not necessarily, based on history, after the fact, jobs get bad because soldiers come back and they can't find work. You know what I mean? Because then the jobs go away from the war. I don't know. Tech, Japan plans to spend $376 billion on AI, space, and nuclear fusion by 2030. I think nuclear is going to be the next big boom. Crypto token count. This one's crazy. Crypto token count surpasses 37.8 million since 2023 as new projects flood the market. That's a crazy amount. Look at this. It actually wasn't even that bad. It was way down here, like significantly below even 5 million, probably less than 3 million. And then it just exploded some point after July 2023. This thing just exploded, and I don't know why. How many of those are dead tokens on Solana? Like 99%? Yeah, I guess I'd like to see this with anything with higher, like a specific volume or a specific amount of liquidity. Lunar Entity said, nuclear has already been booming. They had to cap the spot price of uranium 3 times. That's crazy. Sailor, stretch the orange dots. Another week, another buy. What a freaking legend, of course. Market, this is now Bitcoin's 4th worst Q1. And Q1 ends this month, actually. This will be the end of Q1. We are currently down 18.3%, according to this post, which is posted at 9:30 a.m. March 15th, which is today. So, let's see what that closes at. We've had minus 37, minus 24. Minus 49 is crazy. Minus 18, minus 23, plus 18. I guess I'd like to see the best, or the worst, half. Does that make sense? Like Q4, Q1 combined versus like Q2, Q3 combined in another year or whatever. Be interested in seeing that data. The liquidation event of October 10th is still over 5 times larger than the next highest liquidation event. That's pretty crazy. Altcoin market cap drops as Bitcoin continues to dominate crypto market momentum. That's probably for the best. The Bitcoin Lightning Network went live exactly 8 years ago. I was going to make an argument that they haven't seen that much adoption, but I think that's the opposite of the truth. I think that there's been a ton of Lightning Network adoption. I think that we need to pass this law so that small Bitcoin transactions don't get taxed, like capital gains tax, because that's silly. You can pay sales tax and stuff like that. If you're using it as a currency versus an investment, you shouldn't be taxed on it. Lunar Entity said, oh yeah, we read that already. If you guys are new here at all, let's get your opinion on the poll in the chat. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. We got 10 votes so far. I think we're probably good to end it, actually. I'm going to end the current poll, and we're going to switch to the next one. Bitcoin, 72,389. Gold, below 5K now, 4,992. A little sad. Silver dumping, too. What is going on? Nasdaq pumping? Huh. That's weird. A little sus. Very strange. Very, very strange indeed. I don't know. That's very curious. All right, let's end the poll. You guys can look at Bitcoin while I switch up the poll, the current poll, I asked you guys, do you think the Iran conflict will end prior to Trump-Xi Jinping meeting? 50% of you guys said no, Iran won't play ball at all. 40% said no, too much happening to end it. 10% said yes, Xi will help it end. Interesting. That's actually an interesting take. I didn't think that you guys were going to say no. But I'm here for it. Next. Let's see. Inflation at expected. Jobs at 4.4%. Unemployment. What will Fed do on Wednesday? Pivot soon. Surprise. Big cut. Higher for longer. Or money printer. Go burr. Let me know what you guys think in the poll in the chat. Inflation at expectations. Jobs at 4.4%. Unemployment. What will the Fed do on Wednesday? Pivot soon. Surprise big cut. Higher for longer. Or money printer go burr. Let me know what you guys think. Bitcoin $72,346.41. It's just interesting to me to see gold and silver that have been very volatile, like crazy volatile, even still. And Bitcoin's liquidating some a lot of people actually, bulls and bears. G Immortal said crypto bottomed a week ago. Monthly chart confirmation. Shrug. Let's actually go take a look. Crypto as in like just Bitcoin, or crypto as in everything? Monthly chart. 1 month. Maybe. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a lifelong bottom. That could just be, you know, a little dead cat bounce and then continuation till the bear market plays out for however long. But it might also be a longer term bottom, which I would be totally here for it. Technically speaking, if you don't count this, if we're moving goalposts and being arbitrary, we do have a higher low. Still, you know what I mean? It's significantly higher than where it was in 2015. I'll tell you that much. Just start naming arbitrary times. In 2012, Bitcoin was way lower than 72K. Anyone that's just now tuning in, they're like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Fun fact, out of roughly 52,500 Bitcoin blocks mined each year, only about 20 to 25 are found by solo miners, making it one of the rarest wins in crypto. That's still pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still genuinely considering getting a lottery miner, especially with all of the big Bitcoin mining companies slowly pivoting to AI infrastructure, because they have all of the infrastructure already. The odds of hitting a block with the lottery miner are increasing substantially. Mark Chadwick posted, when you realize you don't fit in with your old friends anymore because they're not on X and don't pay attention to markets or crypto. Love me some Sopranos. Mark Chadwick also posted, alts look ready for a huge rally here. Every major alt season in history started the same way, multi-year base breakout vertical expansion. Last time this happened, 2017. Alt market cap went from around 10 billion to over 600 billion. That's a 6,000% move in 2020 to 2021. The next expansion took alts from roughly 90 billion to 1.7 trillion, about 1,800%. Now alts have spent years building a massive accumulation range under the 2021 highs. Longer base, more capital, more infrastructure, institutional adoption, tokenized markets coming. Alt season 2026 will be bigger than anyone or anything we've seen before. I kind of hope he's right. I think that'd be sick. That would be freaking awesome. MSB Intel posted, oh, this is actually huge. We're going to read this whole thing. Breaking, Aave releases post-mortem of how a user lost $50 million in one transaction. If you guys haven't heard of this, you obviously live underneath a rock and have never tuned in, so welcome to the channel. Subscribe. Let's see what happened. On March 12th, 2026, an Aave interface user ignored a 100% value loss warning to execute one of the most expensive manual errors in DeFi history. Here is the critical breakdown of the $50.4 million swap incident. User error, not protocol failure. I like that they specified that right out the gate. The Aave protocol remained fully secure. The incident occurred via a third-party COW swap integration on the Aave front end, where a user manually confirmed a trade despite a 99.9% price impact warning. Liquidity versus slippage. This was not a slippage issue because the user attempted to swap 50.4 million of illiquid AETH USD for AETH Aave. Again, I pointed this out when it happened. Those are very random, arbitrary pairs. What the hell is AETH Aave? There's too much happening here. In a single transaction, the market depth simply didn't exist, resulting in a quoted return of only $36,425. The killer confirmation: to bypass safety blocks, the user had to manually check a box stating, "I confirm the swap," with a potential 100% value loss. Internal audits confirm this was intentionally checked on a mobile device. Fee refund pending. The Aave interface collected a $110,368 swap fee from the transaction. Aave Labs has committed to returning these specific funds to the user once they pass a verification process. Deployment of Aave Shield. In response, Aave is launching Aave Shield, a new safety layer that automatically blocks any swaps with a price impact over 25%. Users must now deep dive into advanced settings to disable this protection. I like that. I actually think that's huge. I think that at the end of the day, this goes back to the money laundering theory, and I feel like that makes the most sense. It's the only one that really does make sense at all, actually. MSB Intel also posted breaking: Trump announces that current terms are not good enough to reach a deal with Iran. But a deal is on the table, so he can, at any time, probably stop the whole thing. Allegedly. Breaking: Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei recently issued a massive warning about the future of white-collar work. In an interview, he dropped some harsh realities about the speed of AI. Predicts 50% of entry-level knowledge jobs will be disrupted in 1 to 5 years. AI is directly targeting entry-level law, finance, and consulting. We have no guarantee we can create new jobs faster than AI destroys them. His number one piece of advice to survive the shift: learn to use AI. Basically, pay for Anthropic. I'm just saying. It's kind of, it goes back to the Elon Musk being like, you don't need money, and him being the richest man in modern history. It's a very, very easy thing to say, Mr. Elon. Very, very easy thing to say. Dang, do I want to open a trade here? This is crazy. Bitcoin looks so good. 72,661. I said it was going to turn green before the end of the stream too. Damn it. Is it going to? I think it's going to. What do we think, guys? Am I getting ahead of myself? What are we doing? Am I blurry? I might be blurry. No, I'm not, actually. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that guy was money laundering? I think there might have been some mischievous behavior going on for this fella. Bitcoin 72,621. Dang. Justin Crypto OG said, just created what I believe could be a top meme on Caspa. Aquaman. I love it. You gotta utilize the clips of Johnny Depp saying that when, like, from the Amber Heard depositions. Johnny deposition. I'm sorry. There's like audio of them fighting. She's like tweaking out, and he just keeps going, Aquaman. It's really funny. 88 Metals Mania said, why would they give his money back? They're not. They're giving him back the fees. Because, I mean, they don't need, like, it didn't cost them anything for him to lose $50 million, allegedly. So, I don't know. It's probably, they're probably just trying to save face, avoid controversy, because people are probably coming out the woodwork being like, how could Aave allow this to happen? Oh my gosh. I'm never using Aave again. And they're like, well, just in case you guys are idiots, we're going to show you that we didn't profit off this. All right, this one's really cool. Tech founder used AI and ChatGPT to create cancer vaccine for his dying dog and succeeded. This might be the most wholesome story in AI today. It's pretty epic. He uploaded his dog's DNA, created a custom vaccine, and the dog's cancerous tumor shrank. Pretty epic. Justin Crypto OG said it could be life-changing. Getting in this early. Made it in the last 15 minutes. Let's effing go. Caspa is the best. Polymarket Money posted new in. The total crypto market cap increased by 121, is that billion dollars in the last week. Very cool. Whales are buying Bitcoin. Check this out. This is actually crazy. Look at this. This is realized cap for new whales. New whales, purple, exploded after 2024. Absolutely exploded. That's a lot of whales, bro. That is a lot of whales. Like, if you really look, this is a very sideways price for Bitcoin. I'm just saying, 70K. It's been 70K for this whole time. Just saying. Michael Saylor posted a stretch the orange dots. Very cool. Absolute legend. Michael Saylor, 102. They're going for 103. Total, they've purchased 738,731 Bitcoin so far. That's crazy. 7 consecutive daily green candles for Bitcoin. Last time this happened was right after the April 2025 bottom. Weird. Very, very weird. That was posted 10 hours ago. I'm assuming we did close green. Would you look at that? Beautiful. I don't know. I'm excited. This is exciting. $72,661 on Bitcoin. Willem Middlecoop posted. I don't know who this guy is, but he's a guy. Oh, I thought that said read more. For the record, today was the start of the new crypto bull market. Largest gains will be made in a few altcoins connected to the tokenization of real-world assets. He posted ROW. And then he posted hashtag long. This guy's got 194,000 followers. You gotta respect it. A little bit of boomer X posting. I love to see it. Greeny posted, we will never see another altcoin season. The data proves it. The macro proves it. Your favorite influencer is lying to you. So this guy thinks that he thinks there's no altcoin season coming ever again. Altcoins only, excluding stables plus Bitcoin plus ETH. So this is total 3, excluding stables and Bitcoin. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Bar chart posted only 43% of mega cap tech stocks are trading above their 200-day moving average, the worst market breadth since April. We've got S&P 500, looking for a dump all the way down to 550 from 662.29. That's pretty crazy. Bar chart bears right now. I told you we're coming. We'll see. We will see. Then we got some coin confessions here. I once tried, this one's crazy. I don't know what happened here. I once tried claiming 50 cents in the native token of some shitty L1 from a gas faucet. Completely drained it for no reason and walked away with 60K. Actually changed my life and my whole crypto journey. That's pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm 20 in uni, have like 10K invested, 5K sitting in my bank account, have an income of 1.2K per month while having 0 expenses, made 12K with meme coins, but I'm down to 1.2K. Seriously, what should I do with my life? You gotta build something, man. Whether it's a family or a business, build something. Or if you don't want to do that, go on vacation. Just go on vacation, man. Go explore the world. You're young. You got plenty of time to figure it out. Merlin the Trader posted, the alt season clock just hit 1,100 days again. Altcoin versus Bitcoin 1,100-day downtrend retest. ETH versus Bitcoin 1,100-day downtrend retest. In 2020, both retested simultaneously, while what followed the biggest alt season in history. Above resistance, alt season confirmed. Below it, one more compression. 1,100 days of patience about to be rewarded. Hell yeah, I can feel it, dude. It feels like it's been 1,100 days. Please reward me. We got update Kobe SE letter. Let's see if there's anything new from them as well. 3 hours ago, breaking U.S. oil prices above 102 per barrel in their initial reaction to this weekend's events. Pretty crazy. And then simply Bitcoin. Google searches for can't sell house just hit an all-time high. The exit door is getting crowded. Folks can't sell their homes because they're asking too much money. Anything new? Kobe SE letter. Yes, we have Bitcoin rises above 73K as U.S. stock market futures turn green. Ooh. History suggests oil shocks are buying opportunities. Over the last 40 years, the S&P 500's 12-month return following a 2-day oil spike of plus 20% has been plus 24%. In 6 out of 7 instances since 1986, the S&P 500 has been higher 1 year after such an oil spike. The strongest recovery was plus 54% following the 2020 pandemic crash, driven by a massive stimulus response from central banks and governments. The only negative outcome was minus 11% during the 2008 financial crisis. Put differently, every oil shock over the last 40 years that did not lead to a prolonged recession was followed by a strong rally. Oil shocks are historically brief and provide long-term buying opportunities. Hell yeah. That's what we like to see, man. Let's see if Watcher Guru has anything new for us. Not really. U.S. Energy Secretary says there are no guarantees oil prices will drop anytime soon. Crude oil rises above 106 at open. 73K Bitcoin. That's it. Bitcoin, $72,504.76. Looking good. We like pumpy crypto. We like stable gold and silver, to be honest. Dumpy gold and silver is a little spooky. Not going to lie. 78.59. I would like to see silver hold. I want to see it stay above 80, to be honest, but 75 is going to be my next level that I'm going to watch. See what happens, man. I'm kind of spooked that gold lost 5K. I don't understand how gold and silver, being the safe haven assets, are losing value while oil goes crazy. Just seems weird to me. If you guys haven't already, go check out my latest upload. I think I'm going to put out something similar again. Money is a tool, not a necessity. Break the 9-to-5 trap. Just a nice little mindset reset, if you will. Bitcoin chilling. The stock market futures chilling. Gotta wait and see what happens. Portfolio, not really worth updating. We are recovering nicely, but we're still way down. Meme coin portfolio is down 75%. 1K to 10K Grok is down 63. Narrative portfolio is down, wow, 77, 76, 77. And then the knife catching portfolio is down. Actually, this one's not that bad. This one is down. Oh, did I lie? I lied. The narrative portfolio is down 50. Yeah, because this is a $500 portfolio. Hang on. 500 minus 238. 52.4%. And then the knife catching portfolio is down 58.2%. That's pretty crazy. Not bad, actually. Narrative portfolio and knife catching portfolio doing really good. Meme coins getting decimated. And 1K to 10K Grok portfolio looking pretty bleak, man. Looking pretty bleak. Some coins don't recover very well at all. But that's the name of the game. Bitcoin looks good here. I'm excited. Gourmet said crude back down to 98 and filled the gap from the opening. Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's see what happens, man. I'm excited to see what unfolds. I suppose we'll end our poll. We got 4 higher for longer. You guys are saying higher for longer. I don't know. That'd be crazy if they raised rates. That'd be, honestly, Powell's last FOMC, if he raised rates, that'd be kind of funny. Bye. Just flips off the entire Trump administration. I will say they did drop the investigation on him, though, so maybe he will lower rates. That'd be crazy. I would make a ridiculously large amount of money from Kalshi. That'd be very exciting. See what happens, man. We got data coming out before then, so keep an eye out. We're going to stream here every single day, just like we do. But for now, I suppose I'm going to call it an evening. Pretty quiet night overall. We did stream a little bit earlier than usual, too. We'll We'll see what happens. Maybe we have an emergency stream because the market gets pumpy or dumpy or something. I don't know. As always, though, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Sunday and good night.